Steve White, hi there.
Hi there.
So why on earth do you want to be a drummer?
It wasn't something that I actually thought about, or it just came to me, really. I'd always shown an interest, always tapping and banging on things as a kid. I got a drum when I was 9 years of age, and that was it, really. I was on from there.
The fame thing obviously doesn't come into it, because you're sat at the back of the band most of the time, aren't you?
Yeah, drummers tend to be fairly introverted people, except with the possible exceptions of the likes of Mr. Moon, Keith Moon. But I think drummers find it quite comforting to have this like armour in front of them when they have to face the audience. I could never do the job of a singer.
So did you initially go out and buy a kit, or did you try it out on somebody else's first of all?
Well, first of all, I had just a snare drum, like one basic drum, and I used to practice as much as I could on that. And every Christmas I'd just pester and pester until one Christmas I was able to buy a second-hand drum set for £35 and two red toms and a blue bass drum, and that was it. And then I just took it from there.
When did you become professional?
Became professional. Well, I've never done any other job basically.
Right.
I've always been a professional musician.
What about college or something? Did you go to drum school, as they say?
No, I never went. I was accepted on scholarship to 2 drum schools when they were relatively unknown in this country. They've become more prominent. But basically, I wasn't shown any kind of support from the authorities when I got the scholarships, simply because it wasn't an instrument that was regarded as worthwhile studying. So I just decided to turn professional. So I left school in the middle of my A-levels and just got a gig with Glenn Tilbrook and Chris Difford. I worked with them for some months, and then my all-important meeting with Paul Weller, and then I worked with the Star Council. I've worked with Paul Weller on and off for 10 years now.
An interesting story you were telling us earlier, how you actually met up with Paul Weller.
Yeah, basically somebody recommended me for the gig from an audition with a new romantic band that I did. I was just into going and playing anywhere I could, and the guy was a really nice guy. I wasn't right for the band, but he remembered me to the record company, and then I got a call from the A&R department to say that a band on Polydor were looking for a jazzy drummer. Would I be interested in coming down? The A&R guy had already heard of me because he at the time lived in my part of London, playing with jazz gigs and things like that. And they got me to go down. Met Paul, met Mick. They'd already decided on a drummer, but I managed to pester them into giving me a go, and I got the gig. So it was quite a lucky day, really.
And still with Paul Weller?
Still with him, yeah, 10 years this year. He just completed the second solo album, which is going to be out in September, the new single out in July, and then we're off to the States, and then Japan, and then the UK, and then the States again, and then it's Christmas.
See this thing, it's a hell of a hefty beast. I mean, is it not, as a band, not just as well having a wee drum machine?
Absolutely not. You know, drum machines don't have any emotion, they don't have any heart. They're prone to power cuts, they're prone to electricity failures, and they don't sound very good, you know. What would you rather have, a Roland drum machine or Keith Moon back in the band?
It's cheaper though when a band's starting out.
Yeah, when a band's starting out, there's no doubt that over the last few years, drum machines and electronic the electronics that so dominated music in the 80s have found their place. I think musicians now, whereas 5-10 years ago they would be relying on the sounds of drum machines, and that became very predominant on the records that we were buying. Now they're being used as a tool, and it's just that the musicians have regained control of the machine, so to speak, and the industry is not, pandering to this desire for Lin or 808 bass drums on every track. So now, in terms of writing, when guys are getting their instruments, getting their tracks down, getting their songs together, with the expense of studios, obviously they're a good thing. So, but I just think that now real playing has refound its rightful niche at the top of the priority list.
When it comes to constructing a Paul Weller track, how important are you?
Well, I'd like to think I'm very important. Sadly...
are you told what to do, or do you come in with your own ideas in your head?
Well, I'll have a fair idea. Once Paul's played me, say, like a basic track, like he will tend to... He's a very complete songwriter. He'll come in with something on acoustic guitar, on piano, and he will play me the song. I listen to the lyrics, I listen to the chords, whether it gives me like a upbeat feel or whether I can offer any ideas about tempo, and then we'll pretty much just jam on something. And it's been known for certain songs to go through 3 or 4 different stages of evolution until they're actually, complete, and Paul's happy with the type of groove, and we'll just keep on working on something. He'll offer like advice on, I think it should be like this, or why don't you try this, but I'm left pretty much with a free hand to get on with, to get on with it. There's a lot of freedom there, but he is a very complete songwriter, so he does know what he wants.
Here in Aberdeen, promoting Pearl drums,
yeah, absolutely,
and doing a drum clinic.
Yeah.
What's that involved?
Well, a drum clinic really is a chance for drummers to just get together, spend an evening talking and discussing the subjects that is most dear to our hearts.
Sounds most boring from a non-drummer's point of view.
From a non-drummer's point of view, that's why mainly in attendance will be drummers, and if I can muster up a good show, they'll be well and truly satisfied. It's a time-honoured tradition, the drum clinic, and I really enjoy doing it.
You've done a lot of them?
The first one I did was when I was 18, a bit of a baptism of fire, because I was put on stage with a guy called Simon Phillips, who undoubtedly is Britain's greatest drummer, one of the great drummers of the world, and so that was my first clinic, and so I got the nerves out of the way, and I've just been doing them ever since when I can.